Hi, this is part two of my non-important life story as a Syrian. I don't know why I'm doing this. I just want to maybe show people what it means to be Syrian, and I don't want to cry about it or like make people feel sorry for us because I really don't want that. I just want people to understand why Syrian people did a revolution, why we were fighting this regime, and why we are not happy now about that. He just disappeared, he escaped, and I'm happy that he escaped because if he stayed, there will be a bloodbath in Syria. He escaped, just leave us alone. We will rebuild our country and we will bring him back because he have to be prosecuted for what he did to us. So, um, in the last episode, I talked about that how I was raised, and I ended it when I moved to high school. Sorry, my cat is crying. He wanna come inside. So, in high school in Syria, um, I once in the first senior in high school, I had a fight before the exams, like 1 month before the exams. I had a fight. I was a kid, 15, 16 years old, with a guy from that sector, Alawites. He was the head of security in school. We had something like that. I told you that I was in it in middle school. In high school, this guy was the head of security. School have security. Yes, believe it. I'm not joking. Ask any Syrian about it. We had security from the school. So he was the head of security, and we were playing football outside. And he came and he tried to take the ball. It's something childish. It's nothing important, but he felt like he have the authority to do it, to do whatever he want. I refused. I like he said no, like, something like that. Just kids talking, and it became physical. And I punched him on the face. I made him bleed from his nose. He went to the principal, and because of that, I lost so many from my marks. And because his father was uh, an intelligent officer, I lost so much marks in school, and I couldn't pass to the next year. So I had to repeat this year, the first year, and I decided after so much arguments with my father that I will leave school and I will attend to free school. We have something like that. I don't know if it's how to explain it in English, that I can freely attend to high school exam the third year to graduate from high school after 2 years. And I convinced my father that I will work, and while I'm working, I will study, which didn't happen. And I did the exam for 3 years, and I couldn't pass. I didn't graduate from high school, and while I'm working, I got to meet a guy. I was working in a professional audio company shop. I was an office boy. The guy, I was like making coffee and tea and cleaning around like that. And the idea was that I'm gonna work in summer until I. This is how we are in Syria. You have to learn something in summer to work. Guys work in summer. We don't stay home. You have to learn something, a job. And I was there in summer, and when my father was convinced that I can leave school, I kept working. And there was a guy, he's Caucasian, Cherkas we call them. So he's from Russia originally, and those people came to Syria like 100 years ago because of the wars there, and they became Muslims, and he was there. So he was like basically he looked European, but he's Syrian like us. So anyway, this guy was crazy about rock and roll and metal music, and I learned from him. He was like my idol. He's 10 years older than me, but I was like, wow, what is this music? It's crazy. I loved it. Until this day, I'm crazy about metal music, and this is how I learned to speak English, to understand English more. Um, and in that job, I was I loved it. I loved professional audio equipments. And then we started to sell music instruments, pianos, guitars, this stuff. I became obsessed with it. So in Syria, metal music, rock music was illegal. I used to go to places to buy metal music, and while I'm buying it, everyone's looking around. It's like buying drugs. Exactly. I used to hide it. And most of the albums I buy was without a cover to hide what is it. Bands like, I will tell you the dangerous bands in Syria: Pink Floyd, Scorpions, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Metallica, it's like drugs. Slayer, you won't even dare to say their name. I'm from Damascus, and there was many shops that sell these things. It was seriously, it was like illegal. We were afraid to buy it. You can't listen to that kind of music. And they used to say that because of its Satanism and these things, but I was shocked because of Pink Floyd. Why Pink Floyd? Pink Floyd, it's not, you can't even consider them rock and roll. They are psychedelic rock, progressive rock. They are not dance music. They are not like the other bands. But I got to understand that these guys are talking about freedom, revolution, change, changing yourself and changing the society around you. Especially after I watched The Wall, the movie The Wall, I got to realize that this is why our government doesn't want us to hear these things. It's not about Satanism. Satanism is just a slogan that they say to people: you shouldn't let your child listen to these things because he will be a Satanist. It's like, I'm gonna listen to Pink Floyd and go worship Satan? No, it didn't happen, but they were like that. And I got obsessed. I spent all my money. This is why I don't have money now. I used to be crazy about buying albums. I love to buy original albums, and if it's because I work in audio company, I was crazy about like, this is an HD CD. Maybe young guys doesn't know these things, but HD CD was so important. When I put it in the CD player and it says note there, HD CD, I was like, oh my god, I did something great. And it was crazy for me. And yeah, then I had to leave for the army. And while I'm in the army, before I went to the army, actually, they changed the laws. They make it 1 month, 1 year, 9 months, 21 months, the serving in the army. I went and I served in the army there. It was one of, it was the most stupid things that I have ever did, because it's just a waste of time. We learned nothing. I just learned about guns and these things, which I can now Google it and watch it on YouTube and learn it. And in the army, because I'm from Damascus, it was famous that Damascus people are rich. Damascus people are willing to pay, but I couldn't. I served like the hardest. I used to see the house every 3 months, or I escape. Luckily, I was in a place that is close to Damascus, so I can drive 2 buses and be home. So I used to escape every couple of days, just go take a shower, because we don't have showers in the army, and clean myself. We don't have toilets. You have to do it outside, wherever you can. Just go walk around, because it's like a desert, not desert, it's like a mountain. If you hear in the news these days about Sednaya, I served there. I served close to that slaughterhouse, and we just go outside, go to the mountain behind the hill. You just do what you want to do. We don't have toilets. That's the army in Syria. We had a toilet, bathroom that is closed. Why they close it? Because if a general, a high-ranking general comes, and they open it and like, look, it's so clean. The bathrooms here are so clean. Yes, sure, it's so clean because no one is using it. We do it outside. I had to go through that for almost 2 years. And after that, I finished in 2010, the 8th month. Yeah. I went out, I finished the army service, started to stand on my feet again, started to work again in the same company. The owner of the company was a Christian man that I really appreciate. He was so great with me. My uncle worked there, the one I told you about, other videos that he passed away. He was working in the same company. He was the private driver for the owner of the company. So he accepted me again. I started to work again. And for after some month, I started to collect some money. I saved some money. I opened my own shop. I had a shop with my friend. My friend had a situation that he was working in a printing place. They print like Visa cards, they print flyers and these things with his brother. His brother owns it, and he cut his finger. I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but because he's my best friend, it's funny for me. He couldn't work there, and he asked his brother for money that you because of your machine, I lost my finger. He got some money, and we put it and we opened the shop. I was still working in the company full time. My friend is sitting in the shop that we opened. We opened something so simple. We sell plastic bags, plastic dishes, cups, these things for shops. We do wholesale for shops. It was great. My situation was amazing. For a while it was amazing, and then my father passed away in 2012. Everyone was, I used to hear about that 12, 12, 12. The date 12, 12, 12. I'm not sure, but in my mind, they were saying this is the day the world will end or something. And that day at 12 at night, my father passed away because the day before that, our house was in an area called Maddamiye. It's in the countryside of Damascus, and our house was on the side of the government place. Most of our neighbors were Alawites, and they forced us to move, to leave the house. You just leave. You have to leave. You leave or be killed. So we had to leave it. And a day after that, just one day after that, my father passed away. He got a heart attack and he passed away. Yeah, and I stayed in Damascus, and in 2014, my uncle disappeared. He went to a funeral of a guy who died in jail under torture. He came to me and he asked me, you want to go? Let's go to the funeral. I said, seriously, that day, the other guy, because we were two salesmen in the shop, there was an office boy and there was a girl, the cashier, that she write the invoices and these things. The other guy didn't come that day. He was a day off. I said to my uncle, I can't leave. The other guy didn't come. I can't leave the shop. And I will go tomorrow on my own, or we go together. And because I know that guy, the guy that got killed, that guy was in prison with his father. The father left. They let the father go out of jail, and they sent the son's body after a while. After some days, they cut his ears. The guy was like in a terrible shape. I heard, I didn't see it. And my uncle went to that funeral alone. I couldn't go with him. And And yeah, he after that his after some hours his wife called me like, your uncle's not answering his phone, did you see him? Because we work in the same company. I said no. I know that he went to the funeral. I called the relatives of that guy. They said, yeah, your uncle came and he left like hours ago. And we still we didn't hear anything about him. It was the fourth month of 2014, and yeah, just some days ago we saw his name in the list of the people that were executed inside Naya in 2017, and it's just that for me when I talk about this revolution, I take it so personally. I hate when someone foreigner, especially foreigners who didn't live in Syria, who doesn't know Syrian people how we live, talk about it like in a bad way, that we are ruining our country, we are serving Zionism or imperialism and these things. Like, man, we are humans. We are 25 million people. We agreed on one thing. You can't be more right than us. For me personally, my father died. He got sick for half an hour. My father was working. He came to the house. Everything is normal. He had lunch, dinner. Everything was normal. Suddenly he started to cough. And then he passed away while we are going to the hospital. Just coughing, but I felt like this is not normal. My father is not here anymore. We went to the hospital. On our way to the hospital, he passed away. But with my uncle, I feel like I blame myself that maybe that day if I went with him, he wouldn't be arrested. Or maybe I could be arrested with him. Maybe he wouldn't feel alone. I don't know how he felt. And maybe we would die together. We have a saying in Syria that dying in dying with people is covered. I don't know how to translate it in English. It's like if you die alone, it's so bad, and especially like that. I hope he got friends there. I know him so well. He's 15 years younger, older than me. 17 years older, I think. He was a guy that make friends so easily. He was so talkative. And I blame myself now when I think about going back to Syria and see his two kids that now they are teenagers. They are in high school now. The older kid is gonna go to his oldest son is gonna go to university soon. I don't know how to look at them. I feel like I betrayed their father. I didn't go that day. I'm still living. I'm gonna enjoy this freedom that he died for. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So after that, in the end of after that, after he got arrested, my grandmother died, his mother, and she had a problem in the brain, and she used to say one thing: I want my son. Just bring me my son. The doctors are checking what's. She say my medicine is my son. Alhamdulillah. I know that they are all in heaven now. And then, the end of 2014, I got to know that they recalled me to the army again, and they wanted me to. I was a truck driver in the army. I used to drive a truck. This is my specialty in the army. I was like a lowest ranking officer, not a soldier, because I finished middle school, so I was like a little bit higher. Doesn't mean anything, but I learned how to drive big trucks, and they called me to join in an area that I didn't serve in. They told me to go, and I will surrender myself to the facility close to Daraa. It means I will go and fight the rebels. Which for me, like, what? My cousins are there. I will go fight my cousins, my people. I'm against this. I was against the regime since the beginning. I went to protest. I would never go there. But the situation around Damascus wasn't good at all. I couldn't join any facility. I called my cousins, like I called my friends there. Everyone's saying, no, 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 the situation is bad. We are not fighting anymore. People were just sitting. They said to me that my cousin said to me exactly that there's no fights anymore. We are just sit. I'm holding my AK-47 waiting for a Russian airplane that we don't even see, just dropping bombs. We don't fight, we just wait to die. Don't come. So I decided that I have to go to Turkey. I lost my passport. I left it in the house. When we left the house, I couldn't make a new passport because my name is wanted. So I had to escape illegally and come to Turkey. I came here in 2015 after I closed the shop. Me and my friend, he was called also to the army with me. At the same time, we closed the shop and we came to Turkey to start a new life again from zero. We will talk. We will talk about it soon. Bye.